In the vast chronicle of Russian history, there are those born to become symbols, figures whose names echo through the ages. Among them, one stands taller than most, a general whose wisdom became the soul of a nation's victory. Mikhail Kutuzov. His story is not just one of battles fought, but of a war won with intellect, patience, and an unbreakable spirit. Born in St. Petersburg in 1745, Kutuzov was a child of the military elite. His father was a prominent general, and the young Mikhail was immersed in the art of war from his earliest days. It was a world of discipline, strategy, and duty. But for him, the battlefield was more than a family legacy. It was a calling. He excelled in his studies, showing a keen mind for engineering and tactics, destined to apply his knowledge not just on paper, but in the crucible of conflict that would define his era. Every great student has a great teacher. For Kutuzov, that mentor was the legendary General Alexander Suvorov, a master of strategy renowned throughout Europe. Under Suvorov's tutelage, Kutuzov learned the most vital lesson of command. That victory is not forged by the sword alone. It is a delicate art, woven from threads of cunning, patience, and a deep understanding of the human heart. Suvorov taught him to think beyond the immediate clash of arms, to see the larger patterns of war, and to value the lives of his soldiers as his most precious resource. This philosophy would shape Kutuzov's entire career. War is a cruel teacher, and its lessons are often paid for in blood. During the campaigns against the Ottoman Empire, Kutuzov faced his own mortality. In a fierce battle, a bullet pierced his head, a wound that doctors declared fatal. Miraculously, he survived, but the injury cost him an eye. Yet, what could have been a career-ending blow only strengthened his resolve. He returned to the front, his spirit unbroken. This near-fatal wound gave him a unique perspective, a focus that seemed to see beyond the physical world and into the very soul of the conflict. The year is 1812. Napoleon Bonaparte, the master of Europe, stands at the height of his power. He turns his gaze east, assembling the largest European army ever seen. The Grande Armée, over 600,000 strong, and marches into the vast expanse of Russia. The nation holds its breath. In this moment of supreme crises, Tsar Alexander I looks to one man, the seasoned, one-eyed, and entrusts him with the fate of the motherland. Kutuzov, now in his late 60s, is called upon for his greatest and final challenge. Faced with Napoleon's overwhelming force, Kutuzov made a decision that baffled many and angered some. He refused to seek a decisive, glorious battle. Instead, he chose a strategy as vast and unforgiving as Russia itself. A strategic withdrawal. He would trade space for time. With every step, his army retreated. He drew Napoleon's forces deeper into the heart of Russia, stretching their supply lines to the breaking point. Kutuzov knew he had allies more powerful than any cannon. General Time, General Hunger, and the most formidable of all, General Winter. But the constant retreat took its toll on morale, and political pressure mounted. Kutuzov knew he had to make a stand. On September 7th, 1812, near the village of Borodino, the two armies finally clashed in one of the bloodiest single-day battles of the Napoleonic Wars. It was a day of unimaginable carnage and raw endurance. While Napoleon's forces captured the main positions on the field, they could not shatter the Russian lines or destroy their army. Kutuzov had bled the Grande Armée, proving that the Russian spirit, though battered, was far from broken. After Borodino, Kutuzov made his most painful and brilliant decision: to abandon Moscow. As French troops marched into the ancient capital, Napoleon believed victory was his. He waited for the Tsar's surrender, but none came. Instead, fires began to rage across the city, set by Russian patriots. Napoleon found himself the master of a smoldering ruin, a hollow prize. Kutuzov's gamble had paid off. Moscow was not a conquest. It was a trap, a turning point where victory soured into the prelude to disaster. As the first snowflakes of the legendary Russian winter began to fall, Napoleon's fate was sealed. With no supplies and no hope of reinforcement, the retreat began. It quickly devolved into a nightmare of starvation, frostbite, and relentless harassment from Kutuzov's resurgent forces and partisan fighters. The Grande Army disintegrated. Kutuzov pursued them relentlessly, not just to the border, but beyond it, liberating nations in his wake. The myth of Napoleon's invincibility was shattered forever in the Russian snow, and the map of Europe would be redrawn. In 1813, just months after achieving this monumental victory, Mikhail Kutuzov passed away on campaign in Siberian. He had given his last full measure of devotion to his country, but his legacy was secure. He was mourned as the savior of Russia, a hero whose name became synonymous with wisdom and perseverance. He is entombed in the Kazan Cathedral in St. Petersburg, a place of pilgrimage for those who honor his memory. Mikhail Kutuzov, the general who lost to an eye, but so farther than all his enemies. He taught Russia and the world that true victory lies not in brute force, but in the unwavering strength of the human spirit. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this story inspiring, please like this video and subscribe for more chapters from history.